everyone. I'm Carrie Epstein, a senior data scientist at Viacom, and this is Amy Sinensky, a director of Viacom's Audience Science Solutions Group. And we're here today to talk to you about chatbots, so how they're being used today, how Viacom is trying to leverage them in a new way, and then the good, the bad, and the ugly of how they might be used in the future. So I'm sure that most, if not all of you, have had some experience interacting with a virtual assistant, personal assistant bot such as Siri or Amazon's Alexa. And I'd be willing to bet that most of you have even had a customer service bot offer to help you at some point while online shopping. But you might not realize just how ubiquitous chatbots are becoming today and that they're affecting almost every imaginable industry and service. So the size of the global chatbot market is expected to reach $1.23 billion by 2025. And in a recent survey of 800 different brands across a variety of domains, 80% of them said that they were either already using chatbots or plan to implement one in some capacity in the next 2 years. So why is this all happening now? In my opinion, the reason for the chatbot boom has been really threefold. So one is due to the proliferation of messaging apps. Back in 2015, messaging apps finally surpassed social networking apps in terms of monthly active users. And because messaging apps provide such a perfect vehicle and platform for chatbots, the potential opportunity for chatbots has just recently exploded. Two has been just leaps and bounds in advancements in AI. And three, the barrier to entry has just been lowered. So there are so many tools available today that allow for chatbot development without needing to be an expert in AI or programming, or really even have hardly any financial backing at all. And so these new tools and APIs have paved the way for more specialized chatbots to come about in industries that you might not realize. So in addition to the customer service bots to help you with things like e-commerce and travel and food ordering, they've now broken into this brand-centric marketing space. One of our favorite new chatbots is Casper's InsomniBot, which just keeps you company when you can't sleep at night and it's too late to chat with family or friends. And so this is a perfect example of a marketing bot that's part of this evolving new relationship between brands and consumers that's happening through chat. And so the primary purpose of InsomniBot from Casper's perspective is just to bring you closer to their brand, and we should expect to see a lot more brand-centric bots like this coming soon. They've also broken into the fan fiction space. So Marvel Comics recently created a chatbot that's learned the personalities of all of its most popular superheroes and just provides a way for fans to immerse themselves in their favorite comic book storylines and chat with their favorite superheroes in real time. So you can see that while customer service and personal assistant bots are the most prevalent type of chatbots today, they certainly aren't confined to those spaces. Bots can essentially learn whatever you want to teach them, and Viacom was helping to leverage that opportunity in a way that would aid Viacom employees and also eventually just improve performance across the organization. So taking a step back, Amy and I at Viacom work on an audience science team that builds data products and tools that use data science to solve for some of the problems that come up across our brands. And even if you aren't too familiar with Viacom as a whole, if you are familiar with any of our brands such as Comedy Central or MTV or Nickelodeon, then you know what we're all about. So we like to focus our time and energy trying to figure out and solve for these bigger problems, like predicting where TV content is heading next and finding the best optimal ways to target new, potentially interested viewers in our TV shows. But we still have to tend to these smaller, everyday ad hoc requests that come from our internal stakeholders with simpler answers, but that still facilitate data-driven decision-making, just such as like the performance trend of a show across the course of a season. But as the volume of these ad hoc requests started to increase, we needed to find a way to scale our capacity and respond to these requests as quickly as possible without just increasing headcount in our data science and research teams.
So without further ado, I'd like to introduce everybody to Eve. She's the chatbot that we created in-house specifically for analytics. And not only is she the first at Viacom, but really the first in the media industry specifically for data and data science. And so you're probably wondering why she's named Eve. It's really because she's the first of her kind, just like Adam and Eve. And we're really positioning her as a virtual data scientist, someone who's there on demand 24/7 to provide instant answers using data. And so if you look at the screen, you can see a typical dialogue you would have with her. And you get a good sense as to how quickly she can respond, how detailed she can respond. And depending on the specificity of your request, she'll prompt you for additional details. And so the dialogue is really easy and smooth. And so you'll see that she'll answer right there in the conversation. She also has a function that if you're looking for additional details, she can send them directly to your email, which is really nice to kind of have a hard copy as reference. So right now she's still in beta. She's still young. She's only about 3 months old. And so we have a pretty robust backlog of things that we want to train her on and teach her and really get involved. Right now she's kind of doing 3 core things for the business. She's helping to calculate TV ratings. She's helping you identify schedule information, so whether that's something that aired in the past or something that's forecasted to air in the future, and something easy like audience duplication, which is just the audience overlap between show A and show B. So just top of mind things that the business was interested in, but again, there's kind of a big, robust pipeline of things that we want to train her on and really get into the technology. So with any data-driven product, right, there's key advantages and disadvantages. So these are true of Eve and also just chatbots in general. So she's on demand 24/7. The beauty of Eve is that you can use her at any time of the day. If you're doing work late at night, right, in bed, as everyone does, she's there to help you. If you're commuting to work, she's there to help you. And that's a great benefit of her. You obviously saw the response time, very quick. She increases productivity on both ends. Obviously for the user, you're going to see immediate value when you use her, but on the data science side as well, right? Traditionally, we would have to pull all this stuff ad hoc and very manually. Now, obviously, we have an automated chatbot to help do it for you. She works with a lot of people simultaneously, right? Instead of that one-to-one relationship, now it's one-to-many. So she's able to service a lot of people at once. We decided to integrate her into Slack just because that's what made sense for us, and it was really easy to integrate her there. But she's so versatile that you can really implement her into any platform that supports this technology. It's easy to build new intents. You can really train her on a lot of different things, as opposed to a full-fledged app that is much more complex, much more custom, has all these toggles and bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff. To build a new intent is a lot more streamlined and a lot more scoped. She helps with data-driven decision-making, right? That's really the goal of her, is to make everything at Viacom more driven by data and data decisions. Of course, there's disadvantages, right? She's not perfect every day. It's experimenting with new-ish technology. So we actually built her using the Lex technology from AWS. And so, they just made it open to developers. We're obviously new in using her. So a lot of this is there's a learning curve behind all of this. And so we're kind of seeing that in real time. Limitations in dialogue. Unfortunately, she can't order you a pizza, right? She can't play your playlist at home. That's not what she's trained to do. She's really trained to help you answer data-related questions and anything that has to do with analytics. And she's great in the sense that she'll answer about 80 to 90% of all requests we get. But there's still those really custom, like 10 to 15% of things that we're getting on our plate that we're just going to have data science, pull manually. Impact on the business. So as I mentioned, she's still pretty young, she's still pretty new. So we're not seeing too much of, we're seeing a lot of impact, but it's a little bit softer at this point. So obviously one of the biggest benefits is she's super fast. And so, I've seen firsthand that our stakeholders have more time for analysis, more time for critical thinking, more time for strategizing. It's giving them more time to do higher level things. It's used to support all the brands, all the flagship brands under Viacom. So that's MTV, that's Nickelodeon, that's Paramount Network, right? The big core brands that we have. And since she's so versatile and flexible, we're seeing usage across, the breadth of the entire Viacom portfolio, which is really nice. And it shows our value and expertise, right? Of course, we're domain experts, or we try to be, but now that you can use her in real time, in meetings when you need her, it's making us even more experts, in our day-to-day. So, through this experiment of using Eve at work and learning about AI and chatbots, we've obviously learned a lot about how it's all working. And, Carrie and I did a lot of reading online, and we actually read a stat that 29% of customer service-related positions could be automated, automated by chatbots or the like technology. And that could equate to $29 billion in savings from annual salaries. So that really begs the question, what does this look like for the future of business? What does this look like for our futures, right? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Should we be worried about jobs? Should we be excited that it's taking care of these really menial, tedious things that we have to do, and there's other jobs that might open up? So there's a lot of innovation, a lot of evolution in the space. So we want to leave you with this teaser going into the breakout sessions to continue this conversation and just really see what the future of business will look like with chatbots. Thank you.